Following segment is sponsored by Lifebridge Health.
On this Monday morning, and we are now into the fall sports season. Parents and athletes, it's important to know what concussions are and how they can affect your play and your daily life. We're talking about all sorts of sports here too, from cheerleading, football, soccer, even some lacrosse clubs have started. Dr. Kevin Crutchfield is co-director of Lifebridge Health Sports Medicine Institute, and he's joining us now with some answers. Thank you so much for coming in, Doctor.
Thank you very much for having me.
Let's talk a little bit more about this. Diagnosing a concussion. We've got a lot of information now coming from lots of different areas here, and they all focus on, okay, let's look at the eyes, let's find out exactly what this means, and that concussions cause headaches, even some nausea. You get so much information. How do you define a concussion?
Well, there's two ways to define concussion. So you want to get a kid off the field of competition if you suspect a concussion. So you have a safety net that is very non-specific but very sensitive to determine who may have had a concussion. The difficulty is once a kid leaves that field, they've been branded and labeled as having had a concussion. That's a specific diagnosis. So there are no tests that are specific for concussion. I'm going to emphasize that. That's a whole rigorous scientific testing process to determine specificity. There are a lot of tests out there now that are very sensitive in determining if you have abnormalities that may be consistent with concussion. But there are lots of other injuries that may be concurrent with the head trauma that cause the same thing.
So let's go to a professional level here. We'll see a player, like an NFL player, get hurt or something, and they walk off, and then you hear the announcer saying, oh, there's a concussion. Right then, they were diagnosed. How is that possible?
That is absolutely impossible. So what they should be saying is they are suspecting a concussion. That is a more precise way of defining what's happening.
And that I guess, influences the way the parents look at it. It's, oh, they have a concussion. But really, it's just we're following a concussion protocol. We don't know yet, but get them off the side.
Correct.
Get them off the court, get them off the field.
Correct. It's a protocol designed for the safety of the athlete.
Now that they're home and they want to get back into sports, they want to get back into school, headaches are issues here for some kids, but not everyone's the exact same way. I mean, somebody that is possibly suffering from concussion may react differently?
Well, that's absolutely correct. There are many symptoms associated with concussion, all of which are non-specific for concussion. And a lot of times when you get hit in the head, there are other injuries that may occur along with it that cause pain, sleep disturbance, and a lot of the sleep disturbance that perpetuates from the injury can be causing the cognitive symptoms. So you may not have actually suffered a brain injury because you're having symptoms.
Gotcha. So then that exasperates other ways that if you're sitting at home with somebody that's seeing they haven't slept in days. I mean, they're irritable right there. They're also fatigued also. So it could be from the concussion, or it could be from some other symptoms then.
That's absolutely correct. What we're finding in our clinic, a lot of concurrent neck injuries are associated with these head injuries, which makes intuitive sense because the head is attached to the neck.
Right. Okay. So a lot to start focusing here. Where are we with concussions over, say, the last 2 decades?
We haven't changed very much. So actually, the end of this week, we're meeting in Park City. I was invited on a new international consensus conference on head injuries in athletes. And that's one of the questions we're going to be answering specifically is, how do we define concussion? What we need to do is take a step back, and we need to examine the athletes completely and make sure they don't have a concurrent neck injury causing these symptoms. Because right now, concussion is based on this list of non-specific symptoms and other tests that can be abnormal other than having suffered a brain injury. So we're not quite where we need to be, and I'm excited about this conference because we're going to actually take a more global approach to it, including former athletes that have suffered concussion. What is their input? How has this affected their life? And no previous concussion consensus statement has taken the viewpoint of the athlete into consideration.
Oh, that's incredible. And that's coming up later on this week?
I'm flying out Thursday morning.
Okay, sounds great. Dr. Crutchfield, we look forward to getting the results from that conference here, and we'd really appreciate if you can share them with us.
Absolutely. I look forward to it.
All right. Thank you again. Lifebridge Health Sports Medicine, Dr. Crutchfield. Now, Jonathan, we need to find out a little bit more. We've been talking about the fog that's out there. Hopefully that's clearing away because a lot of kids